Welcome to the fourth episode of our Manor Lords mini-series. We're going to be looking at the development points available in the current build phase 0.7.995. There are 4 development trees with each focusing on a different area of development. These are farming, trade, industry and gathering, and in today's video we'll be focusing on the gathering tree. The gathering tree is one with a lot of potential development points. Firstly, let's look at trapping, which gives you a nice passive income of meat from small game to go along with the larger wild animals your citizens will be hunting. It's a nice way to build up some residual meat from the hunting cabins, which currently lack a bit of substance in larger settlements. For me, if your wild animal deposit isn't a rich deposit, this isn't really worth it. In the mid to late game stages, meat isn't brought in quick enough to even see it stored in your settlement. If you do decide to invest, you'll also gain access to 2 more skills. The first one is Pelt Extraction, which extracts hide from those trapped small animals. And I would love to say take this point, but it's absolutely useless given that you can just expand some burgage plots with goat pens and farm plenty of hide from those. It's just not worth it. Advanced skinning, however, is worth the investment, especially if your wild animals are on a rich deposit. It doubles the amount of meat harvested by hunters, so can really help maximise your hunting cabins. If you are putting a limit on the amount of hunting that you're doing, for example, if you want to make sure that 50% of those animals that you are hunting are left untouched, you can then still continue to get a large amount of meat as if you were hunting every single one of those animals. Whilst you might think it's a good idea to invest these points in a settlement where there isn't a large amount of deer to help it become more efficient, there isn't really that's not really the case in my opinion. I don't see the point in attempting to make something that is inefficient more efficient. You're better off doubling the efficiency of something that's already efficient. I hope that makes sense. So use these points on rich deposits rather than deposits that aren't rich to try and equate them to a rich deposit is probably the best way I can explain it. Anyway, next up is forest management. This one is brilliant when it's applied to a region with a rich berry deposit. Not only does it give you a great food source, but later down on the line when you're creating cloaks, you'll need dye created from berries too. So maximizing the amount of these available is a great idea and probably one of the first points you'll pick up. Beekeeping is not particularly useful. The honey doesn't stay long in storage to be noticed, and I do like the idea of it, and it could potentially be turned into mead at your brewer further down the line of development, which is really promising. You could also use it in combination with herbs to create healing salves and stuff like that, which I think would be a good idea. But at the moment it just doesn't have any impact on things, so it's not worth taking given the limited development points available. And advanced beekeeping is exactly the same. This allows you to harvest wax, but at the moment we can't do anything with that wax apart from export it. We can't turn it into candles despite candles being in the game, so all we can do is export it and import some candles. So it's a huge waste of a development point, and I really wouldn't advise taking it unless there's more of a reason to do so. So that concludes our breakdown of all of the current development trees in Manor Lords. If you want to see any of the previous episodes, if you didn't catch them, there is a playlist available which should be showing up on your screen now. I hope this mini-series has been useful for you. Let me know what you liked about it and your preferred development point investments in Manor Lords. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for one final video on my best recommendations. I'll see you next time.